maybe we'll have. You know what? I think we should get our guest's opinion on the matter.
We should.
And that's what we're gonna do right now. It's time to welcome on our guest, Jess Minio of Bleecker Trading. We're gonna chat about her recent trip to the Mint, everything going on with Bleecker. We may even talk about the National. We'll see what she's got going on. But without further ado, please help us in welcoming back onto the show for her second appearance as a live guest, Jess Minio. What's up, Jess?
What is up, guys? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you too. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm here. I'm a little stuffed up.
We're living. We're living.
I'm trying to put on my best
breathing.
face for this interview. You know what I mean?
I know you were nervous, so.
I was
big
nervous.
Time guest here.
Okay. Big time guest. I was
joking.
shaking. I'm still nervous. Am I playing it off
Audio's
well?
all good? We good here? Audio's all good?
Yeah, you sound sound great. Everything sounds great. So,
Great.
did you just hear us talking? We were talking about O'Neal Cruz, and I'm curious what you think may or may not happen with him in the time that he's out, I guess, from a hobby perspective.
So they ruled out his injury, right? He's not coming back for.
Yeah, I think it was what ankle.
So it's a fractured
ankle.
ankle, yeah. Which he'll be out.
Yeah,
for quite a bit.
mean, basically, usually when this happens, from my experience, the cards do dip, which means it's the perfect time to buy. They only dip because, we're just getting into baseball, so this might not even happen. I know you guys were going back and forth, but baseball cards right now, they're not even at the uptick yet, in my opinion. So I think they're going to stay where they're at. They're not going to skyrocket. But I think a few weeks before he comes back, you might see that sudden hobby vulture thing go on.
It's like,
when it's time to buy. But I love him. I think he's great.
Yeah, he's great. He's great for the Pirates, obviously, and just another great addition to baseball in terms of a explosive player that you're going to see plenty of highlights on, whether it's Twitter or you're actually watching TV. So definitely good for the brand of MLB, no doubt.
I can tell you, just being in the stadium Friday, there's a different buzz in that stadium whenever he comes to the plate. It's just like everyone's on the edge of their seat, like, all right, is he going to put one in the Allegheny River right now, or what's going to happen right now? So
for sure,
he's got power.
He's got
crazy. Insane power, insane speed. A lot of these guys in the past 2 rookie classes, they're just absolute beasts.
Yeah, and I think O'Neal's a monster, and from that perspective, he, I think, benefits from being in the Statcaster era or whatever the hell you want to, whatever it's called.
You can tell how hard a ball's hit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Jess said, he's got so much power. Like, ball comes in at 100, it's going out 112, 113, whatever.
And he throws the ball about 9,000 miles per hour across the diamond. It's just
disgusting.
Ridiculous.
Scary stuff. These guys are scary.
It's very scary.
That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't want to be running down first base and the first baseman misses the ball and I just get pelted by O'Neal Cruz. No thanks.
No.
Did you guys see one of the umpires thanked the catcher the other day because the pitcher threw, I think, like 100, 108, and it was like right, there.
Oh yeah.
And the ump, I think, got so scared, and he was just like, "Thank you for catching that." I was like, "Oh, it's bad when the umps are thanking the catchers for doing their job." Whew.
Yeah, exactly. That says a lot right there. So I know you are just incredibly busy. You are all over the place. So most recently, I would say, was Mint Collective. Obviously, you were there representing Bleecker. How was the experience? Unfortunately, David and I weren't able to attend, but I like to get different people's perspective on that event, especially because it almost feels like it almost feels like an all-star game, right? Like you're halfway through the season, so it almost feels like the all-star game of the Nationals. So, how was Vegas?
So you just talk about before Vegas. I actually ran into somebody super special on my trip to Vegas. From David Adams. So I was in Houston right beforehand, doing some Final Four stuff with Cogent, which is Bleecker's parent company. And I went to the McDonald's game, the All-American game, and I sat there, and Elena from David Adams was in my row. So although you were not at the Mint, it was very nice leading up to the Mint. I was able to see her and hang out with some David Adams people there. So that was kind of cool. Like it was a road to the Mint,
Yeah.
like we do a road to the National, at least for me. But going to the Mint after that was great. And you said it perfectly. It is like the precursor to the National. I think this year it was done amazingly. There are so many people that you could, network with. I loved seeing all the new companies come around. Everybody was friendly. You're there to not sell cards really, even though there was a marketplace this year. You're there to hang out with people who you haven't seen, just like the National. It's not as overwhelming. And it was really cool to, see the panels, and there were some big names on the panels, and they're all really meaningful, which I liked. And yeah, honestly, it was just a really great experience. The activations were awesome. Like you walk in and immediately you see Tops and like J-Rod right there. The Panini pick was awesome. I had the best time.
That's awesome.
I really did. I think it was the perfect amount of time too. I think being in Vegas for a full week like the National, I wouldn't make it alive. But yeah, you guys were much missed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah,
That's very sweet of you.
Appreciate it.
I would hope, I would hope people would say that. Hopefully they're not like, thank God we didn't run into those guys.
Troy and David aren't here.
Those guys are the worst.
So in your opinion, Jess, how important is an event like the Mint to the hobby?
I think it's vital. I think that nowadays it's vital. I think with the hobby becoming more focused not only on the people in it, but the companies really needing to show up, like Fanatics, Tops, Panini, the grading companies needing to show face. We have a bunch of different services going on. I think that places like this, consumers are actually able to meet the people behind the scenes. I think that if we didn't have the Mint, it would just be a bunch of other card shows. And during those card shows, there's no really place for marketing. There's no really place where you're front facing these companies, and if you have questions, they're going to answer. And so I think stuff like the Mint is actually completely essential. I would even like to see it, not in Vegas, like twice a year. I think it's a pulse on how everybody's doing, who's working in the hobby and the industry. And it's also important because, this is where people, they launch big news, or they launch, Bleecker launched their membership. It's a time where people can set a milestone for themselves and for their companies and for their collecting even. So I think it's 100% necessary.
And I'm glad you brought that up. You snuck in at the end there. You said, Bleeker's got their membership going. So talk to me a little bit about that. You guys did launch this at the Mint, but give us the full details for maybe the folks, obviously, who weren't at the Mint that may be interested in this, or just any sort of details you can share to let the viewers know.
For sure. So as some of you are, and I don't know, people know, Bleecker is a social club, aka a hangout in the West Village, New York City. We're known for our trade nights. And everybody says when they come in, they're like, oh, this seems so exclusive. And we're like, it's really just inclusive. Anybody can come. But in order to kind of also create that feel of, hey, kind of like a Soho club, where there is that accessibility, we wanted to create another tier for people in the hobby to access other things that we can't bring just by coming to our space. So basically there's 2 tiers right now. There's like a cheaper tier and a more expensive tier. Everybody somewhat loves the merch. I get my Breaks with Jess merch here. This is super exclusive. But with both tiers, you get exclusive membership merch. It's really insane, really dope. Love it. There's only 100 slots per membership tier. They both come with free grading credits. They come with free break credits, like dollar amounts, an essential welcome kit. So with all the brands that, we love, stand-up displays, shutter slabs, a ton of others. With subscriptions, we have VIP events. So whether it be at Bleecker, or for those who are across the country, we're going to have super special online events. So with athletes or superstars that, you can interact depending on the tier. And there's also these very elite experiences that we're going to do. Experiences as in, we're going to go to the games, or we're going to have, athletes that host something. More details on that to come, kind of keeping that little secret, as well as, 20% off merch. and a ton more. Like I'm trying to think of, what. Oh, also free entry to the Burbank Card Show for both tiers. So
Yeah.
and we're really still adding it. So it's not launched until July, but it's a bang for your buck no matter what tier it is.
I was gonna say it sounds like it's a bang for your buck, like you said.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth it.
I read up on it. I read up on both tiers, but yeah, I mean, like she said, not to reiterate, but break credit, grading credit, you get some, good swag if you want to call it that, but like some threads, I'm still searching for my Breaks with Jess hat. Still haven't got it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Just saying.
So I actually have yours right here, which I'm sending to you.
Let's go.
I think there's a live link on the website right now. I think there's only 6 left because there was only 12 made, but they're actually for sale.
Good news. Okay, so everybody,
yours is taken.
Okay,
so I took that out of inventory.
Okay, so
that's your hat.
That one's spoken for.
Yep. So that's your hat.
All right. Good news is I have a Chase hat that is going to be sent your way as well.
Beyond excited. Yeah. I want that zip up. I probably have to pay for that though.
Which zip? What zip up? The David Adams one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the one Elena was wearing? I don't know. Cody, can we maybe find a zip up for Jess, or are they super exclusive? That's right. I totally just put Cody on the spot to make sure he did that. So maybe we'll send a little care package.
So this is also like the merch for the membership. They have the membership patch, but for the Breaks with Jess, that's the first time we're doing a little diamond on the back.
That's dope.
So that's why it's I
was gonna say where can they go get that? Like I know you got a few left in stock, but where can they go buy those if they want?
Check out the website, fleekertrading.com. So It should be right in the inventory.
Cool. Okay, I think we got Legacy, one of our Twitch guys. He dropped it in the chat here, so people got the link to the Jess hats now.
Thanks, Legacy, and also on there is the membership. So if you guys want to read about it, go for it.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, definitely check out the memberships too. It looks like some cool stuff for sure.
For sure. Love some merch. I gotta ask you though about your time in Houston. What was that moment like when you just randomly seen Elena in the same row as you?
So it was beyond insane because I didn't even know that the McDonald's game was going on. I actually finished up from a day of, I work doing events. So we were working with LG and I was so tired. I was dealing with fridges and stuff all day, but I looked out my window and I just saw like McDonald's and people like going to the center. I was like, what's going on? So I looked at the tickets and I saw there was a really amazing seat for like $60. I was like, how can I not go by myself? I'm in Houston now, so I'm just going to get a ticket. Got a ticket like literally 5 minutes before ticket sales closed. Went down there. I walked around, checked it out, and then I finally sat down right before 8. And I was just sitting there enjoying it for maybe I think 2 minutes. Or no, she was there. Yeah, 2 minutes. And I looked to my right and I'm just like, hi? Houston out of all places, this game out of all places. And I've never met her, but I watch her weekly. It was so surreal, and we both kind of screamed, and I think people around us were like, this is weird. And then she told me while she was there, and she was like, yeah, we literally came last minute, and it was just one of the best experiences in the hobby. Stuff like that, you can't make it up. We were in the same row. So I don't know, it was so exciting for me. It was probably the best part, one of the best parts of my trip, for sure.
When it's spontaneous like that, it's so different than texting each other to meet up. The fact that you just and I'm breaking the fourth wall a little bit, but literally she was sitting here, David's there, I'm here, we're in the middle of a meeting,
11 a.m. on a Tuesday,
and our social media manager Ray comes in and she goes, bro, Elena, we gotta go right now, we gotta go. And Elena's like, what? She's like, we're going to Houston. And Elena's just frantically running around now. She's trying to get stuff. So
nothing packed.
No, zero. But I think it was all worth it. Just even for that moment, they saw Adrian Peterson, but even for that, like you said, cool hobby moment, totally worth it. And
so yeah, they saw Adrian Peterson. I think he kicked Ray by accident, shoved or something, by accident. And then they got to talking to him, and I didn't I knew they were filming some content of kids opening packs, which was awesome. But in the video, I'll have to show you guys. I accidentally, like, I saw them talking to him. I didn't know it was AP. I saw the back of his head. I just like accidentally, like, I knew I was like charging in, but I was just like into the background, like shimmying, like I literally like told him, like, I'm like, move, and like I'm like, hey guys, and I pushed my way through Adrian Peterson, and I was like, oh, I don't, cool, and it was just a really funny interaction.
Yeah,
they saw AP, but like I saw David Adams.
just it's amazing.
That was my win.
I was gonna say that's amazing what you guys can say. You know, Ray can say she got truck sticked by AP, which she just said in the chat. You can say that you nudged Adrian Peterson out of the way to get to your David Adams friends. So really, just a win-win situation for everybody with that, I would say.
Yeah, and not many people are able to nudge Adrian Peterson out of the way of anything. So
no, I think that says something about you. I think that says something about you. You might have a good. I don't know. You got the broad shoulders.
I do. Yeah, I have to fit into a larger size because my shoulders don't fit in normal clothes. It's kind of weird.
You're carrying bleaker on your shoulders when you're just running through these shows. Giving it the little tap there. I love that.
I wouldn't want to mess.
No, me neither. And it's so funny because I was sitting on the couch and just all of a sudden I get a selfie, and it's just her and Elena. I was like, what is going on? But just amazing stuff. And now I kind of want to move on. Just we were talking a little bit yesterday about some some content you're going to be doing, but you've been ripping some baseball. And what have you seen from the stuff so far? I know, like, early on for the 2023 stuff, at least, we got Bowman baseball coming out next week. How cool is it, big league? Because obviously I know you're pretty close with Steph, of Mama Break, Steph Garcia, but like that big league stuff. How cool is that the influencers were in there?
So I love that. So yeah, I've been getting some personal boxes because everybody's like, your breaks with Jess, why aren't you breaking? I'm like, well, you're right. Like, I can do personal boxes and just start reviewing them. So that's what I'm gonna start doing. So stay tuned for content. I'm really gonna push at least 2 out this week of that. But I opened up the big league, and I was excited at first. There's obviously the chatter around the hobby being like, oh, influencers, blah blah. But I don't see them as influencers. I see them as like positive influences in the hobby, which are influencers. But the fact that Mama Breaks is on there, Jeff Wilson, Slab Sucks, Slab Strong, and Card Collector too. I think that's them all. It was cool because I was actually hunting for them in my box, and I did not pull them. And I was kind of like, oh man, even though I pulled an auto in my box, which is, I think that's pretty rare.
Yeah,
they're not guaranteed. So I felt lucky enough, but I was really looking for one of them because I know all of them. So I think that's awesome that Topps did that. Because my goal since I started in the hobby again is my dream is to be on an Allen and Ginter card. But I'd settle for one of these. But again, bringing people who are real into and onto trading cards, I think, is a great idea.
Yeah, believe us, we Troy and I definitely want one of our own cars in these products soon to be. So
I think all three of us have to fight to be in the 2024 products. So we just got to work as hard as we can to be a big enough that Topps will consider for a card, because I think those would be fun. Imagine us chasing ourselves on the chase.
The Troy Danger and Yaga Bomb dual auto.
Yep.
That'd be sick. I'm pretty sure you guys have a leg up on that. The podcast players have been in there since way before 2011. When I started ripping 2011 Ginter. So like, you guys are influential. Keep it going. 3 days a week. That's a grind.
We try. But hey, listen, you're a foot soldier though. Like, if we're giving compliments back and forth here, you're out there in the trenches, like almost everywhere. You're everywhere and getting all kinds of content in that. So I wouldn't. You're nothing to sneeze at either. I was gonna say people know who you are for sure.
Appreciate it. I'm running through the streets. That's right.
That's right. Exactly.
I'm not
That's what
stopping.
I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's funny, like, like, it feels like we talked to Jess, and like it feels like we've known her for a long time, when realistically never have met in person. It's only been the twice over the chase now.
Wild.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
but it'll change, I would imagine.
Probably national, I'd say.
I don't know. There's another question for you. I mean,
what's coming up next?
Yeah, between now and national, what do you got going?
So, we do last year we started the road to the national. So we'll definitely be doing something before the national. We are working, we have a close relationship with Arena Club. So we might be doing some stuff with Arena Club and a special guest leading up to the national. So you might see us somewhere there. So hopefully I'll be super involved in that. Of course, trade night. So if you guys ever want to make it to a trade night before the national, maybe we'll plan one of those. That's always fun, but we will definitely be at the national and be definitely doing a big event before the national. Again, we call it Road to the National. So if you don't see me there or before that, you'll definitely see us at the national.
I love that. Now, do you have like any other shows going on right now planned, or are you actually home for a while to really be, working at the shop and everything else that's going on from, marketing side and that?
So I'm home at least for the next 3 weeks, I think, which is exciting. Which means, yeah, I don't work at the shop. I work at the marketing side of things, so Cogent. I do that daily. I go into the office, which is kind of near Bleecker. So whenever people are around, visiting, I can just pop over to Bleecker and finish my day's work there, which is really cool. We do have some events every week, which is nice that I actually get to attend and be there for. So it's going to be nice to not travel for the next 3 weeks unless something comes up. Then I'll go to a show, or it's always kind of on a whim, which is great about loving what you do is the opportunities that come up.
100%. How do you feel about Toronto?
I don't mind it. I've never been.
Toronto is not this weekend. It's next weekend, but I can say as going to that show from a collector fan standpoint, and then going back as actually doing work, that show's a lot of fun, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it's the biggest show in Canada, I would argue. I don't know how much of an argument anybody else would make, but that show is big show for Canada. It's a lot of fun.
Are you guys going?
Yeah, we'll be there Saturday, which is April what do we say, 20th?
22nd.
22nd.
I mean, that seems like a good date to me. I mean, Jake's probably going, so maybe I'll actually hop on this one because the 22nd, I don't have anything planned. So maybe I'll make my first trip to Canada, eh?
Oh, ever? First trip ever?
Yeah.
Taking a trip to the 6th.
Canada is you got to realize we grew up,
5 minutes.
5 minutes, right? We can walk over the border and we're in Canada. So, yeah, Canada's a blast. So we'll talk about that one. I mean, if there's always room, I know we'll be around. We'll be running around the show for sure. So, if you can get up there, that'd be a blast.
I mean, I don't see why not. I don't think it's too far of anything from Manhattan. I think I don't know how to get there, but I'll get there. And Jake goes, so I'll just hop on.
Okay,
whatever
cool.
Jake's going on.
Oh yeah.
All right, cool.
Why not?
I mean, why not? You make a stop in Buffalo real quick, then you head out to Toronto. That might be the best way, or fly directly to Toronto. I don't know how Jake does it, but just saying.
I mean, if we can rip some wax, over there, I'm down.
100%, which we can.
Always down to rip.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like I don't usually rip on my own. I've ripped one hobby box lately. So I feel like if I have influences around me that are like, come on, let's rip.
Twist your arm a little bit.
I'll be like, all right, let's do it, I guess.
Yeah. See, I used to just rip too much for myself. So now I pace it just one box at a time for the new products. And now I have reason, content, that's
100%.
my excuse.
100%. Which you don't have to give away everything, but she showed me a little preview of the content she's doing, and you did that Bowman's Best, and you had a hell of a box. You don't have to if you want to leave that for the content, but how good has that Bowman's Best been hitting for you? I mean, was that the only box you've done, or have you seen some other breaks at the store or anything like that?
So I've seen a few breaks, and I hit a nice gold base card. I'm gonna post the content today, so if you guys want to go to my Instagram, it should be posted by this afternoon. I asked Troy for some, expertise, and he was like, "No, this is good." So I'm just gonna leave it as it is. I'm gonna post it. But yeah, I think Bowman products are simply my favorite. Bowman's best in particular because you can get the rookie autos, and they're all on card for the most part. You can get those super rare cards like Mike Trout's in there, and the supers. I just want a super so bad. I haven't pulled a super in like 2 years, so that's kind of what I've been itching for. But yeah, no, I got one box, and it was in a pretty amazing box. Very excited about it. I usually don't get that lucky. I mean, I'm not going to ruin too much of it, but definitely, watch it because I made the recap video right afterwards. So I was still kind of like, yeah, great box.
I can tell you it was an insane box. So, is there any?
You got me intrigued now. Like what are we talking, like upper echelon players here? Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't like I didn't pull any reds or like no supers.
She's downplaying.
Some good autos.
She's downplaying.
But like
combined, it was a good.
It was cool.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Box was solid. Even if there wasn't much color to it, solid box. I was sitting there watching and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's really good. And then the next one comes and I'm like, same box? I'm like, really? So definitely make sure you guys are watching that. Did you have anything else to add before we give her a chance to plug where they can find this stuff?
I was going to ask you, since we're on the topic of baseball rookies, people talk a lot about the 2022 class with Julio, Bobby Witt, Wander, and all that. What is your opinion about this year's class with like Adley and Gunnar and Michael Harris? What do you think about this class?
I think it's super deep. I think that this is one of the deeper classes. I mean, I think last year was studs. Like they were complete studs, but I think this class is deeper. I mean, I'm a prospector. I've been prospecting these guys for years now. And then also some of them just since last year coming up so quickly. We don't normally see that a lot. Usually, you get their Bowman products in 2018. They called up in 21. 20, it's crazy because these kids are just growing faster and faster. But I think that this one's super deep. I think that we're going to see a lot of names from this year in 2 years from now be like insane. So I have a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Let's just say a lot of my base rookie cards I'm still keeping from like this class, which I normally, I hoard cards anyway, but like I'm sleeving, top loading, like putting them aside and like writing the year. So to me, that means something.
And I think that's a great point you made too about, you were talking about guys that are already called up from, prospecting last year. So Jordan Walker,
Anthony
Volpe. I think you're right where it's already insanely deep in Series 1. And now you think about Series 2 and then the update series, obviously. I mean, there's Yoshida, there's Anthony Volpe, Jordan Walker. So guys that you were just getting Bowmans and first Bowmans of 1-2 years ago already going to have rookie cards. Pretty insane. And then what about, now I'm thinking of more things. What about real quick that MLB debut patch? I mean, that was that was nuts for them to take that initiative, and it seems like it was very well received.
Yeah, I mean, I posted that, and Topps reposted me. I was very honored because I saw Cage posted it, somebody else posted it, and I was like, this is so cool. And I think it's game use. Like there's only going to be one of them, and I'm really excited to see what product they put it into. I mean, I have a few ideas, even suggestions of like what product should have it, but I love it. I think it needs to go back into Topps Chrome. I think that Topps Chrome was the OG product. If you think about all Topps products, Topps Chrome football, Topps Chrome basketball, Topps Chrome baseball, like, it's kind of been a little bit of a meh product the past few years. Just because they're like, oh, overprinting of this, them forgetting the short prints. I think that product really needs a new uplifting angle. And I think, I think that's your flagship product aside from, all of the releases of the base, your flagship rookie cards. Topps Chrome is something that could use it, and that would be absolute insane to hit. It would make it a huge chase, and it would bring so much appeal to an already great product, but something that needs a little bit of revamp, you know, because you don't see those real patches or
Yeah,
patches really at all.
freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's actually I can see where you're going with that for sure. So there you go, Tops. You got a little bit of a suggestion there. Do what you will with that information. But Jess, thank you so much, obviously, for taking time out of your busy day to come hang out with us. We always appreciate it. Always appreciate when we get a chance to talk to you. So for the folks at home that want to see that content that you're going to start posting more, where can they follow you?
Breaks with Jess on Instagram, just at Breaks with Jess. I'm always all over Bleecker Trading, so Bleecker Trading on Instagram, Twitter, website, so bleakertrading.com. So you'll find me kind of everywhere for now.
There you
TikTok,
go.
I guess. I'm going to try to make more TikToks. But again, mostly Breaks with Jess on Instagram, so you can contact me, and also Bleecker Trading on Instagram.
There you go.
Sounds
At
good.
Breaks with Jess across the board, nice and easy. Makes everything uniform. So just type that in on social medias and you're bound to find her. So there it is. All right, Jess. Well, have a great rest of the day. Hopefully we see you in Toronto now. We'll definitely be talking about that. I think we got to plan something.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and have an amazing week, everybody. I really
All right.
appreciate
Appreciate
having
it.
me on.
Of course, anytime.
All right.
Anytime.